Hey everyone, welcome to Zeitgeistzealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
And I'm Robbie.
And I'm Tip.
Today, I think we're talking about the second episode of Loki and the seventh episode of Bad Batch, or the latest one.
Eight. Is it number 8?
I think it's 7.
7.5.
Yeah. Oh, I only got
we'll
through.
meet in the
Well,
middle.
technically 6.5 because I didn't even finish it. So, yeah. So Loki. This is a really good episode. I liked it. Tip. I think you
I
had
loved
issues
it.
with it.
I did enjoy it. I actually the first time I watched it, I was so tired after work. It was late. I fell asleep
Throwing a
halfway through, and I was like, man, I got to see the remainder. And I watched it last night, and
What'd you think?
there's a bit of intrigue. You know, there might be some like romantic, weird,
Self-love.
self-love.
Oh my gosh, I would totally say that.
I finally found what I've always been looking for. Myself.
I mean, to be fair, that's totally in Loki's character, right? Who else would he fall in love with but himself?
Yeah.
'Cause that's the only person he loves. And in episode 1, he said that's the only person he can trust. But no, I don't think there's some kind of romantic connection between
That'd be so weird.
Lady
Sort of like-
Loki and Loki. Maybe
It's
between me and Owen Wilson, but not between those two.
That's borderline incest right there.
Is it incest if it's the same person? I feel like that's just masturbation by definition.
Okay, I don't know. But
For you guys,
okay,
that was kind of funny.
let's. Hey, you didn't laugh at Crossbald. You got to take the punches where you can.
I changed my opinion on Crossball. I thought that was semi funny.
Okay,
It has merit.
Haha to whatever you said. I wasn't paying attention to. So,
Nice. I appreciate it.
so Loki is officially like in a cubicle at the start of the episode. That was funny, and he's trying to kill Miss Minutes, the newspaper. And I think they first go to a. We skipped.
What do you
the
think about
opening.
her?
Who? Miss Minutes.
Oh yeah,
Miss
there's
Minutes, like she's like a recording, but not a recording. And then she's
there's
like
theories that
a hologram.
she's a big part of it actually.
She's the main bad guy. She's behind.
I don't know. We'll talk about this at the end with the post credits because I actually watched them for the first time. And
Oh, there's post-credits?
No, not post credits.
Okay,
Scene.
about
It's just
to
the credits scene. Yeah, quick, pause the podcast, run off and watch the end of it again.
Yeah, I
No,
thought like
the
fast forwarded
credits
to make
scene.
sure there wasn't anything, but yeah.
I just hit the pause button and I'm like, 3 minutes left. That must be credits. If there's 5 minutes left, must be a post credit
Wait,
scene. If there's 10 minutes left, it must be the first episode of Invincible.
Yeah. So basically,
Time out. There's a post credit scene.
no, there's not.
No, I misspoke.
okay.
Just the credit scene.
Oh,
So, yeah. So they go back to 1985 to a Renaissance
Yeah.
fair, and to be fair, they could have gone back to any year because the Renaissance fair didn't really portray anything.
It always
any
looks the
day.
same, right?
Yeah.
They walk through the door, and as the door closes, you see like this red shield with like the golden lion on it. And I was like, oh, I remember that from my childhood. Accuracy.
Anachronism. Yeah, they literally could have used like the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, or maybe like 2011. And they wouldn't. No one would have seen it. Because basically the only 80s thing in that scene was like they played "I'm a Hero" or "I Need a Hero."
Right? I mean, obviously they picked that song for a reason. Do you think Lady Loki's going to turn out to be a good guy in the end?
Yeah, so it could be like the TVA is really the bad guy, sort of like in
I
Wanted.
mean, yeah, we've been saying that all along. But yeah, I definitely think that the TVA is up to no good.
I mean, Mobius is good, but he's sort of like I trust the timekeepers because
Because they made me.
yeah.
Right? He's never met them.
Yeah.
But he gave
It's kinda funny.
the
It's kinda-
timekeepers gave him everything.
But it's kind of funny, yeah, because what was it? The guy who made Loki was the frost giant who pretty much left him out to die, so he killed him. So I don't think Loki like has appreciation for like his parents like Mobius does. And they had an interesting conversation, like he's part of the TVA, which is ruled by space lizards. He was like Loki's from like a magical land with
Asgard,
the frost
yeah.
giants.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
it's all made up bullshit.
Pointed that
So.
out.
It's like everyone's creation story is utter chaos, in the real world, right? Whether you believe in like Christianity or some other major religion, or you believe in the Big Bang, It's all pretty far fetched.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Well, I mean,
I need a hero. You think Lady Loki's going to be the good guy?
I don't know. It'd be interesting foreshadowing. I think he just wanted to use an 80s song for that chick to kick butt to.
What 80s song would you pick?
Like all that's left.
What 80s song would I have used?
Yeah. And then we'll get to Robbie's question.
I don't know. Maybe a Journey song, Touching, Feeling, Squeezing. I don't know. Because that's what the Loki's going to be doing to each other next episode. I don't know. But yeah, I really like the idea of, well, first Loki goes to the Renaissance Fair, which basically that scene did nothing. Like he goes there and he's like, hey, you should tip the timekeepers. And they're just like, okay, now you're just fucking with us. So this mission's a fail. So that was a little disappointing. I thought there would be more in that scene. They kind of just like go there and then they leave. It just wasn't.
Right. I don't understand how like Loki quote unquote botched the mission. Like those people were already like beaten up and knocked out.
Yeah.
And Lady Loki wasn't around. I don't see like how he could have succeeded in that mission. That was really weird. But I want to circle back. Rob, what was your question?
Yeah. Oh, I was just seeing some kind of theories about missed minutes. Like, what if like over time, what if the whole thing with the 3 timekeepers is kind of just become a story now, but Miss Minutes is like controlling it all?
I can see
like,
that. They did that in Captain
them.
Marvel.
Or like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she turned out to be like either her or Renslayer.
But if you think about it, C20 at the end, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, she said that.
Oh yeah, where their
she told Lady
was.
Loki where they're right, and if like the location was the Miss Minutes button on the Time Variant elevator, then I feel like everyone in the Time Variant Authority would be able to put 2 and 2 together, or at least like the smart ones, the analysts.
Yeah.
Or well, I guess a better thing that what I was trying to say was like Miss Minutes is like the visuals of everything that's going on, like throughout the whole TVA, because she's just everywhere.
Right, keeping Big Brother, keeping an eye on things.
She's kind of like that character Mother in iRobot, who turned out to be the bad guy. You know, she was like the AI system who was friendly and helpful, and then it turned out she was the bad guy. So they're basically just going to rip off iRobot, it seems.
Wow, Forrest, what a connection!
The 3 laws of variance.
I don't know. Have you read the comic book? Maybe iRobot ripped it off from the source material in the comics.
What comics?
Who came first, Asimov or Stan Lee?
Well, I don't think Stan Lee created the TVA. I think that was like created by like someone in the 80s for the Fantastic Four. Looking it up, and I don't even know if Loki has much like history with TVA. They just decided to use them as the police force for him to, help out. But I don't know. I think
Forrest, I'll have you know, the Tennessee Valley Authority was created on May 18th in 1933.
Tennessee Valley Authority. Okay, so that preceded even Stan Lee. But yeah.
But no, it was created in 1986 in Thor comic 372.
Oh, that was
created by Walt Simpson.
That's strange because like all the cool stuff is always in Fantastic Four, like Inhumans,
except for the movies.
Wakanda. Oh yeah, those are awful. Subterranea, the Microverse, Negative Zone. So yeah, like all the cool, like pretty much, yeah, like because basically like the Kree, the Skrull Empire, like basically the entire building blocks, the Marvel universe is like were started in like Fantastic Four, and then everything spun out of Fantastic Four.
You're forgetting Black Panther.
Yeah, I said Wakanda.
Oh, well, cool.
And Atlantis and Namor. So it is kind of strange. They really should have started with Fantastic Four, but it just sucks because Marvel just sold all their properties to all these different studios. So like they're all doing different things. They're not connected. So it's just chaos. But I know. So basically, Loki figured out that Lady Loki's hiding out in apocalypses. And there are only apocalypses in the sense like where a bunch of people die in one area and there are no survivors, like Pompeii.
Right. I thought that was a dramatic or a loose definition of the term apocalypse.
Hyperbolic.
Definitely hyperbolic.
So, But I mean, I guess the flood. There's probably like a historical flood at some point in history. People like said it. Well, just washed away the entire world. It probably just like washed away a certain section of the world.
The Tigris and Euphrates Valley.
Yeah, but yeah, I get the concept. Like just where there's like a mass,
right,
area.
And it makes sense. I do want to go back and point out with when they go back, the TVA go to the Renaissance the second time with Loki. I was really happy that like one of the first things they addressed is like, from the last podcast I was talking about, why not just go back like 10 minutes earlier and stop the ambush? Mm-hmm. And then they were like, bam, here's an answer for you. It's because it's a Nexus event and the time's still fluctuating. So you have to show up in real time. And I was like, does that make sense? And I was like, I don't care. At least I think they just in-world
knew,
explanation.
Yeah, what if you just go back again if you're still alive?
Yeah. It's basically just because like, why can't I move my piece here? Or why can't I roll this? And it's like, because those are the rules. You don't question them.
I'm fine with that. As long as they're, in-universe rules and, hopefully they stick to them, I'm okay with that.
And it's probably funny if no one wants to just said because the plot needs to happen.
Yeah, that's always a term to go back to.
Because that makes sense, and the show would be over immediately. So, but at least they're trying. They're trying to try to discuss any plot holes. A lot of shows don't do that. At least when it comes to time travel.
Right. At least they're pointing like they're addressing the obvious concern.
Yeah. So basically, the Renaissance Fair scene, which didn't really make a lot of sense, or it made sense, it just wasn't eventful. So Loki screws that up by, just being there. But eventually, he figures out where the Lady Loki's hiding. In the apocalypse, they go to Pompeii. And I guess Loki speaks Italian or whatever they spoke in Pompeii.
That's Latin. And as someone who took Latin for 4 years in college, I will say he spoke it beautifully. Like I don't know how much effort went into like him practicing that, but he spoke it very, very well.
He is a professional actor. So
that is true.
His linguistical capabilities are superior to that of the average human.
Yeah,
and that's an end.
So it's kind of morbid. He was like, you're all about to die, even the children. Did they show any kids there? It'd be kind of weird if they did, but it was kind of interesting. Like, I like at the end, like Mobius is like, don't scare these people, and the guy's like, they should be scared. They're all about to die. So I thought it was like a pretty interesting.
He's like, don't be scared of us. Yeah, like I mean, Mobius is definitely like a great character. Like he gives a damn, right? He loves jet skis. He's infatuated with jet skis.
Yeah, it's
and
like
what if it's going to turn him onto the good side.
I wonder if
TVA is on the bad side.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to like help. Well, we don't know. If we're not even for sure if TVA is bad. I think maybe Renslayer or the Time. I think the Timekeepers like don't exist, and like maybe Renslayer because I think she's a bad guy in the comic, or she's like Kang's wife or whatever, and Kang is the bad guy. So maybe like Kang's pulling the strings, the TVA. Because the sacred timeline is maybe Kang's timeline where he's the ruler, and she's sort of keeping it on track for him, so he can still be in charge. Because if the timeline branches, then he's not the ruler anymore. I think some people are also saying maybe Immortus, which is like Kang's final form, will show up. So
is it Kang's final form, or is that just? I thought Kang came before. I thought it was Immortus, and then he turned into Kang.
Which came first, Chicken to the Kang? No, I think it's Iron Lad. It's really confusing. It's like Iron Lad, Ramatut, Scarlet Centurion, Kang, and Immortus in that order. But Kang's probably like his most well-known persona.
Yeah, Kang the Conqueror.
It's like
I would say like pick a name, but I guess if I lived for thousands of years, I'd probably want to switch it up every now and again.
But yeah, Immortus is like old Kang, who's like I think works with the Timekeepers more, but they're both evil. I think it's just like one's older than the other, and they're sort of like competing with each other for dominion or whatever. So it's very complicated, and hopefully, I guess they'll probably go into it.
Wait, so are we also recognizing the connection between the sacred timeline, the variance, the divergence they cause, and then the upcoming movie? Potentially the multiverse of madness.
Yeah, it's all gonna. I think this definitely because the guy who's writing Loki is writing Doctor Strange, so
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mobius in the TVA makes a appearance. In that movie.
I hope he becomes a regular. But no, Tiff, that's a great point. I rewatched the first episode, and Miss Minutes was talking about, when she was doing the animated video, right? They talk about nexuses, which we know are important from WandaVision.
Whoa.
Assholes. And then
Tips recording on the side of the road. Are you checking home?
But she also talks about the multiverse and uses the word madness in the same sentence. And I was like, how did I miss this the first time around?
Madness.
I just think the dialogue's really good. Like every word's like,
oh yeah, this
every
is
sentence
like
feels like it's chosen very well.
This is like the complete opposite of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which had pretty atrocious dialogue, or just the writing was just nowhere near. And the writing is just so much better in this show.
Oh yeah.
Let's face it, they do have more like actor skill level.
Well, I thought the actors of Falcon and Winter Soldier were good. It's just I think the showrunner just didn't have any very good ideas.
I mean, yeah, he was kind of like pigeonholed, right? Like when, I don't know, 20% of your show, even 10% of your show is about some boat that no one cares about. Like, how do you write around that?
Well, I think he chose that, though. I mean, it was probably one of his decisions. Like, we have to make it about this boat. That's because like the boat is his soul. He's trying to restore his soul, something like that. So that's I don't know.
The shrimp boat. I mean, goodness gracious, why?
I don't know. He's like, well, he's from Louisiana. He must like shrimp and boating. Anyway, we're all getting off topic. So they go to Rock's Cart. They go to Rock's Cart, which is basically like a Walmart run by the Roxxon Corporation, which is like the evil oil company in Marvel. So, which I thought was interesting.
Are they oil? I thought they were. I'm thinking of AIM with arms dealers. I thought they were like in competition with Stark Industries.
No, Roxxon's like oil, and they're basically like behind a bunch of like sketchy things in the Marvel universe and the comics, and I guess in MCU too. But apparently, as you saw, like they're big. They're not just oil. They're like a conglomerate in the future, and they had like these like
got to branch out. These which makes sense because oil won't be a big thing in 2040 or 2050.
Yeah, and like they have these mega stores like Rock's Cart, and everyone's like sheltering there for the hurricane on the Alabama coast. So this was like, I guess, the big climax. What happened after they discovered the apocalypse? Oh, they discovered like they found the gum, the kablooey.
Right, kablooey, right, and like that should just be like a big hint, right? Because I mean, kablooey is kind of like a child slang for blowing something up, right? Mm-hmm. And then the bomb went kablooey. Is that just me?
Yeah, so they bombed the timeline.
Sounds like it's just me.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
But like, all right, so let's talk about bombing the timeline, right? One, I want to really appreciate like the nerdy guy at the desk who was trying to look for the codes to read out the right thing, and then the other guy just like pulled the phone away and he was like, "They're bombing the timeline. Like this is too important for codes or stuff." But like those charges are supposed to reset the timeline. So why would setting them off create divergence?
Good point. I think maybe they can only be set off when there's been a Nexus event, and if they cause a Nexus event. Well, I think.
Oh, you stop a certain event from happening, and then it just
it resets the time.
One of those could be like going to like Dallas, and it could like kill Oswald before he shoots Kennedy. No,
but that's supposed to happen. So like it. I don't think
it
like
wiping out
everything.
Oswald,
yeah, it doesn't wipe out everything.
Out just that spot, or is it wiping
wipes
out
out like the
entire,
like in Dallas the day
like that
before,
whole dimension?
If he puts it in Dallas the day before he kills Kennedy, he gets killed. Kennedy comes to Dallas next day, or if he even does after the the thing goes off, then he won't get killed. That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think that follows like the show's like rules and logic. If we go back to the tent scene at the beginning of the episode when they set out the discharge, it doesn't wipe out the whole Renaissance Fair. It doesn't wipe out the tent. It just removes the variants, right? Like the TVA helmet that we saw. So like, I'm not sure it's not like an atom bomb. It doesn't just like blow everything up. I think it just like erases anything that's not supposed to be there. So
well, I think
it
could also erase things that are supposed to be there, possibly. And that's maybe why it's called a Nexus event, because it could like be wiping out Abraham Lincoln before he signs the Emancipation Proclamation.
And they're just like, nope.
And there's the Freedom Day plug. And I don't know. So we'll see the consequences next week. So there's definitely there's lots of loads this company.
So what do you guys think? The TVA is good or bad?
I think
it's hard to say it right now.
I think Mobius.
I mean, what is good? What is bad? That's the real question.
I guess it's
right?
I guess it's a viewpoint. I guess.
I think they're based.
No one bad thinks they're bad. They think they're they're maybe quote unquote doing bad things, but like they have a good reason for it, right? The three lizard men in charge of it all, right? They have a plan, right? But like Loki said, who is it for them to decide what everyone's plan is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about this show. Makes you think, unlike Falcon and Winter Boy.
Yeah, it's basically just like accept what we think the world should be like.
And you also have to take into account that Loki, is he good or bad? I mean, he does some pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah,
when your main character is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like he basically caused like another 9/11 in New York, and he's like the main character of the show.
Yeah.
It's like, why is Disney like, with this and Cruella, they're trying to make us sympathize with a woman who's going to skin puppies.
And that's how you do it, right? Cruella is a great template for that, right? How do you make a bad guy the protagonist of the movie? And that's, you face him against a worse person, the Baroness. And how do I know that? Because I watched Cruella. And you know what? It was surprisingly excellent. I quite enjoyed that movie. I would say maybe more so than Army.
You said you're putting them against what? Cruella against what?
The Baroness. Yeah, so like, Cruella's like, she is like just a more evil person. So like you take an evil character, you make them the protagonist, like the main good guy in the movie, by pitting them up against someone worse. Darth Vader is a bad person, but Darth Vader is the good guy when he's going up against the Emperor.
Yeah, I guess the Baroness wants to skin people, like Buffalo Bill.
She's just a bitch.
It's like, oh wait, are you about a size 7? So, I don't know. I think I read like Dalmatians kill her mom, so that's why she hates Dalmatians.
I mean, I was going to say that because of spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah, that's extremely stupid. So, I think, what else? Yeah, I think like something like Magneto. I literally read them like, no, they're not doing. Please,
I'm sorry.
God,
can we go back to that for a second? Force, you think that's stupid?
It's so dumb.
Let me ask you this: Batman hates guns,
and by the way,
because a gun killed his parents.
He doesn't hate guns.
Do you hate Batman?
He hates criminals. He doesn't
because
hate guns.
a criminal killed his parents.
Look at all the guns.
I'm sorry, I see the logic here. I see the logic. I don't see the logic.
He hates criminals. He doesn't hate guns. So he should just hate the Baroness. She shouldn't hate Dalmatians.
Oh,
because they're just doing what they
finds out that the Baroness killed her. She hates the Baroness. It happens in the movie,
and yet she still hates Dalmatians and wants to skin them. Afterwards. 101 Dalmatians movie.
That is a little weird. So you obviously haven't seen the movie, but she actually like takes the Dalmatians on, and then they have kids, and like that's how the 101 Dalmatians comes around. So at the end of the movie, she doesn't hate Dalmatians. I doubt there'll be a sequel to try to.
But a woman who wants to skin them obviously likes them. Yeah, I see the logic there. And by the way, she's like, I'm so smart, I'm so brilliant. I'm like, she got fooled by a bunch of Dalmatians covered in black suit and couldn't figure out they were the 101 Dalmatians she was looking for. Remember that in the cartoon movie?
No, I don't remember anything about that cartoon movie.
It's been I love how you do.
It's been maybe 20 years.
She's like literally looking for the 101 Dalmatians, and they cover themselves in black suit, look like black labs, and they walk by her car, and she like looks at them suspiciously, but just can't make the connection that they're the dogs she's looking for. So yeah, she's not very brilliant. Sorry.
Hilarious. That's so funny.
Let's go back to Loki. So we saw Lady Loki for a second. She looked a lot like the 13th Doctor. Doctor Who. I wonder if that was intentional.
Why do you think it would be intentional?
I don't know,
never
because
seen
this
Doctor
is
Who.
this is sort of like a Doctor Who-ish sort of, it deals with time travel. It's quirky and strange. There's space lizards. So it's a lot of like ridiculous, imagery and stuff. So I was wondering if maybe they wanted the villain to be like an evil take on Doctor Who.
I'm looking up the 13th Doctor. I mean, it's a female
She
with
looks-
blonde hair, but I
yeah,
don't
she
see
looks-
any other connection.
Short blonde hair. Who's British.
Oh, yeah, no, they're the same person. I see
Yeah.
that now.
Yeah.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. They look exactly the same. So, I'm guessing like there's gonna be a gigantic my predictions for next episode are like there's gonna be a gigantic exposition dump by Lady Loki over why she's doing what she's doing.
I hope so.
And
You
then-
need to learn these motives.
I think Loki's probably gonna like betray her, escape, and then meet up with the TVA at the end of the episode again.
It's a triple cross.
So
What do you think about Loki
I
going
was
through the
just
door?
getting in.
I would have
May-
gone through the door too. Like they made it they hinted
Well-
very obviously that this was Loki's last chance. And so like if she gets away, then the mission fails and he's gonna die. So, regardless of intention, I would run I would run through the door as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably would have.
it's kind of like Mobius told him to wait. If like Mobius didn't want the mission to fail, he should have been like go after her.
Yeah. You trust him ish, not really, but
I mean, if he had if
That's
Loki
your
had
only
just-
hope.
if
That's your
Loki had
only
just
hope.
Stayed, yeah, because they have like no leads after she's gone. So, and to be fair, he's really just working with them because he has to, because they can like capture him and kill him.
yeah, he
They don't,
can't
so-
go back to his own timeline. He's got nothing
So
else.
he's like
can
he
do.
has really like no loyalty to them other than they might be able to get him an audience with the timekeepers, and he has no idea if they're gonna reset him after they find Lady Loki anyway. So
Exactly.
I'm sure
he never
it was a
really
little
got that
bit-
assurance.
I think it was a little bit like I want to prove myself to be superior Loki. I can't trust TVA. I can only trust I might be able to trust. I need to find out what her end game is. So I think it
Yeah,
makes
and
sense.
he's
They
either-
set up-
And he's
They
either
set
going to
up on
sit
great
there
cliffhanger.
wondering at the TVA or go through the door and get some answers.
Yeah. So, but I think he'll probably join up with TVA at the end of the next episode. Maybe he'll tell Lady Loki I can go undercover for her or for you. But we'll see. I think we're probably gonna meet other Lokis.
That'd be great.
I think they haven't said who Richard E. Grant's playing. I assume might be playing an older version of Loki. So I think they're probably gonna reveal next episode. There's more than one sacred timeline. So there actually is a multiverse. And the particular sacred timeline is being controlled by Kang or the Timekeepers or Renslayer, whatever, and they're just trying to wipe out other universes just to be the main timeline.
What is this? Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, basically. So Mobius is going to have to rip out Renslayer's.
So you keep
spine.
saying this Renslayer. Who is this character?
She's the black judge, not the hunter. She's the one who approves Mobius's missions.
So she's the judge.
The judge, yeah, but she's
Okay.
called Renslayer. That's her character.
You have
so.
a bird next to you.
On
Yeah.
your shoulder? Yeah, is the
Well,
bird
Tips-
perched on that mic?
Little Ren just
Tips.
popped up in here.
Yeah, Tip's music is bringing all the wildlife to him, like Song of the South.
Yeah.
Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder. Bunch of cartoon
Holy
animals.
shit. Go with Snow White or Cinderella. Ooh. Just go straight for the heart of Disney.
Oh yeah. I wonder if Loki will travel to the Song of the South universe because that they've tried to that's one timeline Disney wishes they could reset. They can't. So I wonder maybe that's where they're going to be hiding because that's the one place Disney wouldn't think to look because they don't want to acknowledge Song of the South. So all the Lokis are hiding in the Song of the South universe
Oh my gosh.
because it's just there's a big legal and moral implications if we even acknowledge it exists. So, but yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to hide out in another apocalypse event. Do you think that's the case?
I mean,
Or do you
that would
think
make the most sense to me.
Or do you think she's going straight for the TVA because like all the hunters are now off trying to take out Nexus events?
And she knows their location now too.
That makes the most sense as well.
Oh, that's
That
right.
makes
Yes.
even more sense, right? You create a huge distraction. You get everyone out of the TVA, so you can just stroll right through.
And all their soldiers are out on missions.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have a feeling
So she goes. She knows where the three lizard guys are, and Loki's gonna follow her. Like, I can see her like walking. He's gonna be like chasing her down a hallway, and then like barely get there, and then it's all gonna be exposed. It's just Miss Minutes.
It's probably
Dun,
like another.
dun, dun.
It's gonna be another Mandarin twist. Like there is no timekeepers. It's just an actor, or not an actor, but someone else pulling the strings.
Like a Wizard of Oz kind of situation.
And
Yeah.
apparently, one thing they pointed out on one of those fan theory videos I watched of it was like that whole intro cartoon. They showed like an old version. They had the huge statues of the timekeepers, and then they still had a statue of Miss Minutes there, and that looked like a older version of the TVA or something.
Interesting. So maybe she's like a hangover from the last universe.
It would be kind of.
Yeah, but who knows when that cartoon was referring to though? But
I'm gonna be really
It could be
disappointed.
the future.
I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Yeah.
Miss Minutes is the main villain. or at least like we find out who's voicing her, and that's like an actual like more legitimate villain. But
or you just
Yeah.
find out she's more a part of it than you think.
Yeah, can we talk
like
about legitimate?
the main villain?
Let's talk about legitimate villains for a second. Did Loki got his ass handed to him by a big old beer belly redneck? Like,
Oh
go
yeah,
back to the
He's
go
like,
back to the
"I'm
Avengers,
just-"
like the first Avengers movie, right? Like they had such a hard time. Like, Thor has a hard time beating him in Thor 1, and Iron Man gets his butt kicked, but like that guy just like wiped the floor literally with
because Iron Man.
with Loki.
Like, I mean, excuse me, Cap had a hard
Yeah.
time with him. Iron Man
Yeah,
took him out
and-
like immediately, but like Captain
Okay.
America,
and then
Yeah.
just some
soldier,
redneck comes in and punches him out of nowhere.
Right. Like, what is going on with that? And like, you have magic, you have your magical abilities, and you only use it to summon a Roomba, which also hasn't gotten any better in the last the next 30 years.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe because he was enchanted, he had more super strength. I don't know. That's my only
Maybe,
theory.
but they should have set that up somehow before the fight if that was going to be the case. It just looked like you guys ass kicked by a guy.
Did you like
I mean,
Loki's?
that guy was Loki, just in a different body.
You're all Loki.
So Loki can beat up Loki if they have the element of surprise.
Yeah.
You know?
Or the
Did you-
element of mass, just more elements.
Did you like Loki's differentiation between creating copies of himself and creating illusion casting?
It seemed very on character.
Yeah.
And I liked how he was like, "Oh, but you guys knew that."
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I got for Loki. What other predictions do you have for next week? I think Lady Loki and him are going to the TVA because they're all busy taking up Nexus events.
Yeah.
Is it early? That's only gonna be episode 3 in their 6 episodes, so I feel like that's a little early. Maybe she goes to gather other Lokis, and then in the 4th episode they go to the TVA,
Okay.
right? Because like episode 3 could be like the TVA trying to like put out all these wildfires across like time and history, and then that would be the B plot, and then the A plot is like the 2 Lokis teaming up together, grabbing other Lokis, and storming the TVA.
Yeah. So we shall see. What do you think of that one scene from the trailer where Loki is like in a suit? I wonder what that's reference to.
I don't know. I didn't really watch the trailers because I wanted to come into this with the least amount of spoilers as possible.
Well, it's basically like from the Vote Loki series where he's like, I don't know, running for president or whatever. But it's basically like exactly that costume. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is definitely. I mean, I enjoyed WandaVision quite a bit, and so. But
Yeah,
I think it's
I would say
definitely more-
Loki, WandaVision, Captain or Soldier Boy,
Yeah.
in that order.
And then what else is coming out later this year? I think Miss Marvel, like the Pakistani girl who can Stretch and stuff, and then I think Hawkeye, and that might be it for the Disney Plus shows.
Is What If or the What Ifs not till next year?
Yeah, that's not really like MC. That's sort of just like an animated series. That's like I don't think it has any bearing on.
No, because they're what ifs. But I mean, I think they're canon, but not important to the story. Like they're not in like the main timeline, the sacred timeline.
Yeah, and a lot of them I don't really like care about. It's basically just like, what if this character was this character? Like, what if Peggy Carter was Captain America? What if T'Challa was Star-Lord? I'm just like, I don't really.
What if I gave a damn?
Yeah. Because like that version of Star-Lord, that's like not the one from the comic. It's just like purely like the movie version. So I'm not really that interested in that. So.
What if that raccoon was Iron Man?
Probably.
What's that raccoon's name?
Rocket.
Rocket.
What if Rocket was named Cocket?
He had half of it. He had his last name, Mr. Raccoon.
Mr. Raccoon.
So, all right. Well, let's talk about Bad Batch.
If we must.
You didn't care for it?
I mean, so I usually gauge like an episode based on how many times I go on my phone. So Loki, 0 times, right? Bad Batch, I caught myself watching a video, like a little short video on Reddit about some monkey in a subway. So, I guess I found that more interesting than the beginning of Bad Batch. But eventually I put my phone down and watched the rest of the episode. It just seemed, I don't know, like every other episode, like the only standout part like that, I was like, ooh, yeah, was like the first person point of view after.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name gets knocked out and then he comes back too. But like even then that was like kind of lame. I was wondering like, why are those helmets like that? Like that's such a limited range of vision. Like no wonder why.
Or that's just the recording that they're referring back to.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Well, episodes with Crosshair seem to be a little bit stronger than the other standalone episodes.
Man, you love Crosshair.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. I mean, was he captured to get the chip out at the end of this episode? Or did they just have to flee?
No, they didn't get the chip out. No, he got hit in the head and he was
still
like covered in bandages.
Okay, so
he got burnt by that thruster.
Do you think the chip the inhibitor chip has been inhibited and he'll probably?
That's what I was wondering, but I don't think so. And I believe, according to your earlier theory, like he was just always like kind of a soldiers follow orders asshole. Like even without the inhibitor chip, he would still be like the bad guy or on the bad side.
But I think sometime this season he's gonna like get the chip out and then still betray the team. And okay, so also the 2 cloners are behind the bounty hunters. Apparently, they were the ones who hired the bounty hunter to get Omega.
The Camino ends. Yeah, I like how they revealed that a couple episodes later. It wasn't like immediately after.
Yeah,
I mean, we all pretty much knew it was Camino, but this just confirmed it.
Well, I think I was just thinking the Empire, but I don't think I suspected the Caminoans. I was expecting maybe at least the Empire Rampart.
Oh, I thought it was the Caminoans because they wanted the clone.
Yeah, I probably should have seen it coming, but I was just like, I never really perceived. They're not really evil. They're just kind of like they care about the science.
Yeah, and they're not being evil. They just want their clone back, right? Because she's possibly force sensitive, and that's going to be their bargaining chip to staying in business, right? Like the Empire doesn't care about the regular clones, but if they could clone Jedi or people with high midichlorian count, then that makes them profitable again.
Yeah, I agree.
Renew those contracts.
Very important.
Somebody's in the wind.
Someone's in a wind tunnel.
Oh, that's me. Sitting outside. It's getting mighty windy over here.
It's all those beans and Taco Bell.
Yeah,
we've had a bit of zen this episode.
Tip: if you get record the podcast when you're caught up in tornado, that'd be very impressive.
I'm here at Rexmart.
This Bad Batch wasn't the best, but barely hear you over the wind.
Like that weather reporter who's out in a storm.
Yeah, there seems to be a freckled man in jorts playing a guitar caught in the tornado.
recording a podcast. Oh,
Just
we
like
get so much exposure.
That's a great theory you got there. And
Yeah.
Tib, what do you got for us? Well, I did. It's just
I fell asleep halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
Who's the weatherman and Family Guy?
oh yeah.
Jackie Child. No wait.
It can
Ollie.
rain.
Ollie
It's gonna rain.
That boy
How
gonna get
about
it.
you, Ollie?
Here's Ollie with the punishment forecast. That boy gonna get it.
Yeah, it's such short little clips.
Ollie, how you beating the heat? At the swimming hole. He's like literally going by on a tire swing. At the swimming hole. Oh, you see the one where it's like it's Christmas at his family, and he's like gives his son a present. He's like, Christmas. He's like, cold? Why? Bad.
Oh, so Major, you're starting live.
Oh no, he's like
Yeah, dude. It is so good. I mean, it's always been like close to my heart, but rewatching the first season, like I think I got goosebumps multiple times. You know, I maybe watched 3 episodes last night.
Has been
so
years
good.
since I watched it now again.
I would highly
Might be worth
recommend
rewatching it again.
100%. Go back and like rewatch it because like you kind of know what's happening, but then like there's like you remember like the big stuff. I'm not going to spoil any of it here, but like you remember like the big like important stuff. But then there's like all the small things. And you're like, oh, I completely forgot about that. Like that's amazing, and like it's so good.
yeah,
My
like
question
Walt,
to you, yeah, go ahead.
like Walt being important, which he wasn't. Later
You
on,
get all those
they just
feels
wrote him out.
back.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
love, the admiration I'm giving for Lost is about Lost season 1 right now. You know,
I think most of
it's-
my feels for Lost were all in like the first seasons.
yeah, this
Yeah,
the ultimate
exactly.
payoff.
They
the
started
writer's
just
strike
getting
really
weird.
the writer's
But
strike
thing
really
is,
hurt
the
it.
thing is, though, the first season's damaged by like the lame payoff of the later seasons, saying like Walt being all like held up to be something important and special, and then he just was written out of the show, stuff like that.
spoiler
So
alert.
it sort of diminishes like the impact of the first season when you're watching it, and that plot line's not going to go anywhere.
Well,
Same with
negative
Polar Bear.
Nancy. Let me ask
Polar
you
Bear.
this,
Mhm.
right? But like that's like the great thing about the first season. Like there, like J.J. Abrams, his mystery box was famous because of this, right? Like there's so much to set up, and it's so good and intriguing, right? Like I'm not thinking about the later seasons and like how nothing pays off. I'm still like, oh, what the fuck is a polar bear doing on an island? And like Lock can walk.
But
and stuff.
it doesn't lead anywhere though. That. So it's like
it's called suspension of disbelief.
It's interesting
right?
when you're watching it as it airs, but like when you have hindsight, it's just not enjoyable.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you're that bitter, Forrest, but like, so I could be, yes, I'm obviously aware of how Lost ends, but like, I'm not gonna let that impact my enjoyment in the moment. I'm gonna
all
try to watch
enjoyed
this as
the beginning of Lost.
right.
Yeah,
Like,
because we didn't know what was going to happen, but now we know it's what happened.
So
and
are you
like,
telling me
really
you-
was down
So
their
you
legs.
didn't
You'll
enjoy
never watch
any
Game
of
of
those
Thrones
The
again?
same
episodes
reason
unknowing-
my enjoyment for Force Awakens went down after seeing The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Like I can't enjoy that movie anymore because I know they just completely whizzed it down their legs.
well, you don't have to.
I could
You
still
don't have to
get
watch
some
The
of
Force
those like
Awakens.
good
Watch
feels back.
watch A New
Watch-
Hope.
No,
It's the
they're
same
all
movie.
dead.
My question to
See,
you,
I
Negative
can't.
Nancy.
I don't let something just kill.
Well,
Thank you,
everything.
Rob.
That's why I still
Thank
like New
you.
Hope because it had a good payoff with Return of the Jedi. So at least a satisfying conclusion. So
So, what's worse, the last season of Lost or the last season of Game of Thrones?
I haven't watched Game of Thrones past season
Get
1.
the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
because he doesn't want
What?
to ruin the entire show.
Oh,
God,
are you one of those
I'm gonna wait
book
till the book's
guys?
out. Yeah.
Are you one of those book people? Well, Forrest,
Yeah, I
you're
like
going
to
to
read.
die alone because George R.R. Martin is never, ever finishing that
No.
series.
Brandon Sanderson's going to finish the book if he dies because he finished.
That's a
Wheel of
good.
Time.
That's a really good reference. I appreciate that. As Wheel of Time is my favorite book series and way better than A Song of Ice and Fire.
Well, they're doing it on Amazon, so
it's going to be so good.
Well,
if
I
it's
think
anything like The Expanse.
I'm looking forward to the Lord of the Rings show. Is the Expanse guy working on it? Wheel of Time?
No, but just like the quality improvement, right? Like Amazon is showing like they can put out good stuff. Like, if Wheel of Time was going to Netflix, I would be upset.
Oh,
But it's
Sandman's
going to
on
Amazon
Netflix.
premium television. So like I'm looking forward to this. I'm highly looking forward to the Wheel of Time.
How many seasons do you think it'll take to finish the book series? Because
Hopefully 13.
yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. It's just
No, you think they're going to condense it down?
probably. It's just there's just so much material. They got to like leave some stuff out, and a lot of it's really repetitive, isn't it? I think my cousin read it, and he was like he had trouble getting through like the midsection, like the later books. He's just like, dude, just get on with it. So I don't know.
There's a lot of camping.
We'll see if it's a big hit. It's just I think 7 or 8 seasons is pretty much like the limit for most shows. I think if you go beyond that, people like just can't keep interest. Like more than 5 or 6 years. Like some of the best shows only last like 5 or 6 seasons. So, well, we'll see. It could be like a mega hit, and they could like go 13 seasons if they need to. I could be wrong, but I just don't think most shows have that much longevity.
I agree, except for Supernatural, which somehow has like 20 plus seasons or 15 seasons.
Okay, yeah,
that's true. Right. So if Supernatural can last that long, so can Wheel of Time.
But they sort of like do a lot of standalone episodes in that, don't they? And they can sort of like do different things. But like Wheel of Time,
seen it.
Me neither. I heard the first 5 seasons are
you're
great,
right.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to the Lord of the Rings series too, because that's gonna be like $200 million to produce. So they're really trying to match the quality or like the production value of the original trilogy. So
yeah, that's a big price tag, but like you also take into account like they spend half of it just to acquire the rights.
Yeah. Oh, also and Game of Thrones is just such a phenomenon, and they like Amazon's hungry for that sort of viewership and that sort of relevance. So it's like they have like 2 potential Game of Thrones shows, and like Netflix is doing Witcher, which didn't really match that hype. But I think season 2 is coming out, so I think they'll probably fix some issues with season 1.
Yeah, they just dropped some season 2 trailers.
So like I think they'll probably like avoid the weird disjointed chronology, just like make it more straightforward. So I think they'll learn from their mistakes from the first season, but I don't know.
Well, they did get some things right in that first season.
The nudity,
the bath scenes. I heard there are going to be more bath scenes in season 2.
The boobage. No,
I quite enjoyed The Witcher.
I
think I'm one of the only people.
I think the first 3 episodes are pretty good.
Really? When I go back and rewatch The Witcher, I skip the first 2 episodes. And I go like from.
I thought the third one was really good. I didn't really like the last episode. I think the episode where like the guy's like a human hedgehog, that was pretty good. I didn't like the dragon episode. Felt like I was watching an episode of Hercules' Legendary Journeys.
Nice.
It did have a little
Hercules feel.
The guy becomes a dragon. I was like, get real. So. I don't know. I'm like, I'll wait for the reviews. I'm probably not going to watch it the first day. Probably just get a feel for it. And maybe I will. I don't know.
I'd like to remind the viewers that Forrest was highly looking forward to Jupiter's Legacy and made us all watch that garbage. So
I don't know if I was looking forward to it. I just figured it was Mark Millar. It's sort of like we had nothing to talk about those weeks between Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he gave us something to yell at.
And Loki. We just had Bad Batch, I think. And maybe not even that. Like the first week, Jupiter's Legacy was out. So we see something to talk about.
I actually didn't mind it.
That's true. Yeah, I think it was something. It was good to watch. It was good to talk about. Have you seen Snowpiercer or
no
the one with the hybrid animals?
Oh, you mean hybrid animals? Snowpiercer?
Yeah, I thought you were saying snow. Yeah, that's not Snowpiercer.
That's about the Snowpiercer.
That's that train. Train in that frozen world.
Yeah.
But I know what movie you're talking about.
Oh, Sweet Tooth.
It has the kid with the antlers.
Yeah, have you seen Sweet Tooth?
No, have you?
That's based on a comic book series. I haven't seen it either.
Good things about it, actually.
Yeah, I think RDJ's producing it. But I don't know. I couldn't really get into it. I think I saw Will Forte.
I just don't care.
Oh, did you watch it?
I watched the first couple of minutes. So I'm just like, I didn't really.
Yeah, it didn't really catch my attention either.
It seems like more like maybe aimed for like a younger. I mean, if there's like some, it's about like a Deer Boy.
Man, I haven't been to theaters in forever.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go see Black Widow
movie sometime.
Yeah,
just don't go to AMC, that shithole company.
Yeah.
No, they did 2 offerings in the middle of this Reddit movement. So just trying to capitalize on the moment, which, yes, is a good business decision.
Well,
but
I think
overall,
me and Rob,
fuck them.
Don't we usually go to Regal anyway?
I've kind of been wherever.
What's the
Yeah,
one
I
in
just go wherever
Mooresville
they
though?
serve alcohol.
I haven't done that.
I mean, it's kind of funny. Like before the pandemic, like the theater attendance was like pretty awful. Just like maybe like the few blockbusters per year,
Yeah.
movies people like actually saw. Like no one's going to see those indie movies or comedies. It's not like the '90s before that when people went to the movies every weekend.
Who can afford to pay $15 to watch a shitty movie? Like you got to go for Marvel and big summer blockbusters.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll probably at least go see Black Widow just because I'm interested to see, the net. Well, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But that's pretty much all I got. I think we're almost at the hour. Any other thoughts on Bad Batch? Any predictions for next week?
It's going to be another bland episode. I just want something to happen.
The Bad Blanche.
Oh, well, I mean, they took the kid, so I guess they're going to do like a rescue mission now.
Oh, okay. So it's basically, they're basically just copying the Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, did Rampart even want the kid, or did he just wanted to take out the clone squad? He didn't even give a shit about the kid, or did the bounty hunters get Omega?
Didn't Omega kind of like
they hired Cad Bane, the bounty hunter, to get Omega.
Agreed.
Okay, so she's going to take her to Camino.
Yeah, and Cad Bane is a badass. I wonder if they're going to like need a Jedi help to beat Cad Bane. Maybe they'll call on Rex and Ahsoka, but I feel like that's too early to see Rex again.
Another Deus Ex Machina by Luke. Deus Luke Machina. Like the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it.
So, all right, but that's all I got. I'm for
Obi-Wan sounds good.
One final thought. If Disney got their game together, they have all this time travel technology. They should just go into the future and take all of the series that will ever be made and bring them back. And for a special price, you can just watch all of the future series that we're all waiting for.
Disney Plus and Thrust.
Instead of slowly getting all that money, just go out and grab it all.
Yeah, sounds like an Olive Garden all you can eat for $500. But like with the advent of the internet, I mean, it would all just get pirated the first or second day.
Yeah. So, all right.
Plus, I think that would ruin every other show and movie that comes out not by Disney now, because like if you grab a movie from 2050 or 2060, like the graphics are going to be so insane. One, my TV won't be able to play it, won't be able to play it, and then two, it's going to make everything else that comes out look like trash.
Very good point, Major.
Too much of a good thing, but I like where you're at. Tip. Let's try to hack in and see what's coming up next.
Well, Tip, Major, you want to plug our Twitter and email?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can email us your thoughts, concerns. If you guys like the podcast, if you guys hate the podcast, especially if you hate the podcast, send us an email, send us a tweet. We would love to hear from you guys. You can email us at zealotzeitgeist@gmail.com or zealotspodcast on Twitter.
All right. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
And I'm Robbie.
And I'm Tip.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening.